Hello, everyone. It's Infinite Light. So, today's video, I want to talk about a couple parables that Jesus had mentioned in the book of Matthew and also in the Gnostic Gospels. It was the same parable, different books. So, that's what I want to talk about. So, by now, many of you who have watched my videos and been with me for quite a while now basically can ascertain that from previous information you should be able to realize that there basically have been ongoing attempts to sabotage the will of source and or the divine mother and father. So the parable, which I did speak about in another video, about the wheat and the weeds in Matthew chapter 13, 24 through 34, somewhere around there. But basically, it was talking about how the wheat and the weeds needed to grow together for a time period in order for basically the harvest to take place. And once again, in another video, I mentioned what that harvest actually was and what it entails. So, yeah, I'm going to read just a little bit of that parable. So, this is where it says, in Matthew 13 and verse 24, the kingdom of heaven is like a man who sowed good seed in his field. But while men slept, his enemy came and sowed tares or weeds among the wheat and went his way. But when the grain had sprouted and produced a crop, then the tares or weeds also appeared. So the servants of the owner came and said to him, Sir, did you not sow good seed in your field? How then does it have tares or weeds? Then he said to them, An enemy has done this. The servant said to him, Do you want us to go and gather them up? But he said, No, lest you gather up the tares or weeds and also uproot the wheat with them. Let both grow together until the harvest, and at the time of harvest I will say to the reapers, First, gather together the tares or the weeds and bind them in bundles to burn them, but gather the wheat into my barn. Okay, so basically, for the most part, this is pretty clear from what I've been teaching you. You have the wheat, which are light workers, pure hearted beings that are trying to vibrate in the frequency of divine love. And you have the weeds, which do exactly the opposite. Now, the thing that you have to realize from this parable is that the weeds and the wheat look very similar as they are growing together. So, this is why it's important that there just basically has to be that time period that has to take place. So, there is no question about who is who or which is a weed and which is wheat. So, the reason I'm also mentioning this is if you notice in verse 27, the servants did not understand how this even occurred. Like, if, source is all love and good, and you're being taught a certain narrative about God, then how is it that the weeds even got mixed in with the wheat in the first place? Now, once again, I explain this because things are not what religion has led you to believe. So, this was a question that Jesus knew would come up when, both things are growing together, when initially the only thing that was planted was a pure crop. Okay? So, what I want to say about this parable today is I know that so many of you who are wheat have been going through a lot because the weeds have been trying to choke you out. So just stay strong. Stay strong. Do not let the weeds choke you out, because these weeds are cloaking themselves as light workers to choke out the real light workers and to mislead the ones that the light workers are trying to help. Sorry, I get emotional. But it will be obvious with time that even these so-called light workers who are cloaking themselves, because they really are not light workers, they are ops, they are ones who work for the enemy. Basically, with time, it will tell who they truly are, and they will be exposed accordingly. Remember, Jesus also said, the light will always expose the darkness, and because of this, the darkness hates the light. So, light workers, be strong. Do not let these weeds choke you out and stifle your message. You all have an important role in trying to help humanity ascend. Just remember that these weeds, just like normal weeds and any crop, are in competition for your light and your soil, basically, in order to prosper and grow. So they use what is supposed to be yours in order to prosper and grow themselves. So you have to be stronger and not let these ones take your light and basically masquerade in your light because you have been choked out. You are here because you have proven already that you're courageous, you're brave. So don't let these weeds convince you otherwise. Okay? The last thing, briefly, I want to comment on is when it also talked about this sower who planted seeds, and some fell among the rocks, some fell among the thorns. That parable, that one is in Matthew 13:3-9. Basically, Jesus's job, mine, as well as all the light workers and helpers who are here, is to sow those seeds. Keep putting out information, material. You don't know where those seeds are going to end up. You don't know the outcome of the information that you're putting out there. But at the end of the day, your job is to sow these seeds. And however they are, whatever ground they land on, or whichever individuals are meant for them to take root, it will happen. You don't have to worry about that. You just have to sow the seed. Okay? So that's what I wanted to say for today. If you want to read the parable that is in the Gnostic Gospels, it is in the Gospel of Thomas. And if any of you do have this book, then that same parable about the farmer with the wheat and the weeds can be found on page 36. Okay, that's it for today. I love you all. And those of you who are struggling with these negative and low vibrational energies, you're stronger than them. Just remember it. Okay? Sending you my love, my hugs, my light, and my peace. Take care, everyone.